We continue our breaking news coverage tonight. Former President Donald Trump is campaigning in North Carolina.
The GOP presidential nominee speaking on the economy at an event in downtown Asheville. And tonight we have team coverage on former President Trump's speech inside the venue and how crowds were outside of the event.
We begin our coverage with Trump's economic message to supporters. Our Nate Stanley joins us live with what the former president had to say. Nate?
Carol, that speech, which the former president referred to as an intellectual conversation, lasted a little over an hour in front of an energized crowd. That crowd has all but left from inside of the arena. He focused primarily on the economy and the Vice President, Kamala Harris. He did criticize the Biden and Harris administration's handling of the economy and his plan if elected. He said if elected on day one, he'd sign an executive order telling his cabinet to use every tool to cut consumer prices. Trump also said he would order no taxes on tips and no taxes on social security. He said within 12 to 18 months in office, he plans to cut energy prices in half.
With 4 more years of Harris, your finances will never recover. They're never going to recover. Our country will never recover, frankly, more importantly. It will be unrecoverable. Vote Trump and your incomes will soar, your savings will grow, young people will be able to afford a home, and we will bring back the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Among other things, the former president spoke about the border, saying he would have the largest deportation operation in the country's history. Coming up at 11, we'll have more on his message to voters. Reporting in Asheville, Nate Stanley, WIFF News 4.
Well, outside the event, crowds lined up for hours hoping to get in, or at least to see the motorcade.
And that's where we find our Peyton Furtado. Peyton, you've been there all day monitoring the crowds, supporters and protesters, right?
Absolutely, and crowds are the right word to use for that. Let's take a look behind me. Things have kind of thinned out over the past hour or so. That's because former President Donald Trump is done speaking. You can see some of the bike cops with the city of Asheville taking down some barriers, starting to open some roads again. Now, this is nothing compared to what we saw earlier. We saw, I can comfortably say, thousands of people lining up and down downtown Asheville on sidewalks and in streets, many of them cheering anxiously, hoping they're able to get into the building. Now, the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium has about room for more than 2,400 people, so obviously not everyone got in. And this afternoon, protesters and Trump supporters nearly collided in a main shopping and dining district of downtown Asheville. While a minority on both sides, though I'll be honest, mostly on the protester side, seemed they were trying to push the other side's buttons, most everyone was either peacefully in line or peacefully protesting. We spoke with those peaceful protesters and attendees on both sides.
Always positive, and we respect both sides of the aisle. It's just that this is a fight for God, family, and country. It's not about politics. I mean, we're getting down to the core issue of America.
But one of the things that I love most about Asheville is our dedication to inclusivity and acceptance. And this does not feel like it represents the people of Asheville or really the foundations of America as a country.
Now, this event started at 4 o'clock. We're told former President Trump addressed the economy in his speech. We're also told Vice President Kamala Harris will hold a rally in Raleigh later this week. Something of concern we did see at the protest site. We weren't able to get video of this. We were taking down our cameras. We did see a car in downtown Asheville revving its engine toward some of the protesters, some of the people that were standing in line, braking really hard and accelerating really quickly as people were walking from the sidewalk into the street. Now, we have lots of security here on the national level and the local level, I'm told. It's just important to stay alert of your surroundings. Live in Asheville, I'm Peyton Furtado for WIFF News 4.